Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian.
I'm Chris Collins.
So Chris has been on before when we did two profiles. Oh, we've done two. We did your bio, and then you and Alex came in for the Masonic Mount Rushmore. Man, did that get some attention, and holy moly.
Yeah.
But there's not a Masonic Mount Rushmore. But we could argue that we do have a Masonic Mount Rushmore because 3 of the 4 are Masons.
Yeah. Which one's not?
Who's all on there again? Lincoln.
So I've heard a story. I don't know if it's 100% true, but I think Lincoln was actually going to join Masonry when he was done being president. But obviously he wasn't able to fulfill that. But I think he was going to.
All right. You know what? Yeah, he would have been a great representation for the brand. He would have been a great representation for the brand. So, talking about representation and the brand, in this episode, we're going to talk about Masonic references in TV, movies, and Chris added songs.
Yes.
So, we're going to just kind of jump through. Some of these are older that... so Chris and I are a generation apart, so they've lost both generations here. Yeah. So Chris did most of the legwork here, so we're just going to kind of fire off, and we're going to start on Masonry and TV, right, Chris?
Okay, absolutely.
So the Andy Griffith Show, have you ever seen it?
Yes, a few episodes.
A few. Yeah. So I'm going to say a pretty big majority of the folks that watch this has seen the Andy Griffith Show several times. Now, I don't remember this episode. I'm sure I've seen every one of them, but this episode was Off to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And who suggests? Is it the visitor or was it Andy Griffith suggests in that episode that he's visiting his cousin who is the Grand Master that year. So, does it mean Andy Griffith was a Mason? No. But does it mean that he had Masonic ties? Fair?
Absolutely.
Can we go with that?
Yeah.
Dennis the Menace. I saw the episodes, not all of them, but I remember that. But you mentioned in your write-up that Dennis brags at school that his dad's a 32nd degree Mason. So I think is that just Scottish Rite or is 32nd in New York Rite too?
They have a lot of degrees in New York Rite, but when you hear someone say 32nd, I think it's just
Scottish I think you go Black Hat, Scottish Rite, right? Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's, I think, the same thing.
Yeah.
So, we got some oldies, right? Andy Griffith and Dennis the Menace. They were probably filmed all around the same time, right? Yeah. 50s, 60s.
And another old one here.
But this moves up into the 70s, right?
I have seen all of this one.
Every episode?
Every episode.
I have seen like 3, so that's a little bit of an oddity. But MASH, we're talking about MASH. And in this letter that Chris finds, Radar tells Hawkeye, right?
Yeah.
That his mother is dating a 3rd degree Mason.
Yeah. And there were a few different references that Radar uses to talk about his mom dating a Mason.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose it's a good thing that Radar wasn't a Mason. So, right?
Absolutely.
You didn't go there with me when you were putting this together.
I get you.
Gotcha. Monk. I know what it is. I've never seen a single episode of you.
Absolutely. Everyone.
He's the kind of the quirky detective.
Yeah.
Is he a detective?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us about this.
So this was back, I think, it was still running when I was in high school, so 09.
Okay.
And every time you go into the police captain's office, you can see his fez, and they're in San Francisco.
Okay.
You can see his fez hanging up. And also when they buried the monk's wife, they're in the Masonic portion of the cemetery. So it alludes to both of them being Masons.
Or maybe his wife be an Eastern Star.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's a good tidbit. That's a good tidbit. So the first ones that Chris has put up, I've heard of none of these. So these are good. These I like it. So Harry Birdman, attorney at law. Is this a show?
I guess.
Okay.
So I found a lot that I didn't quite understand.
Okay.
And I'd like to call out where I found most of these.
Some Canadians put this together, didn't they?
Grand Lodge of British Columbia and Yukon has a website that has just about everything.
So a lot of the sources are coming from them.
Yes.
Fair?
Yeah.
I like it. Well, shout out to the Canadians. That's why we had to clean up some of the spelling on here. There's some French ties in there. That makes a little bit more sense because I thought Chris had
all copy and paste.
A little copy and pasting, and then So in this one, apparently the attorney was accused of being a Muslim in this episode, and when asked, he's like, then what's, somebody apparently in this episode will ask, well, what's with the fez if you're not a Muslim? And then he said he was a Shriner, third-degree clown unit. So you could tell that they've kind of got stuff mixed up as Masons. You know, we would always say a Shriner and a clown unit. And we probably wouldn't say third-degree Mason. We'd just say Master Mason.
Yeah.
So you can see where it kind of gets lost in script
I
writing.
think back in the day, and I think this is an older one, the degree you were mattered. It took a long time to become a third degree.
Okay, I'll go with that. I like it.
And I met a French Mason, and in their Scottish Rite, it takes them a long time to move up to 32nd, unlike ours, where it's in a weekend.
Yeah.
I think he was like a 14th, 15th degree.
14th degree of Elu.
And then he's got to write a paper before he can move up. And
I like it.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You know what? I kind of like that. I kind of like it. Warehouse 13. I know nothing of this. Is this a Canadian show? Did you do any research?
This is American. I've watched every episode. Absolutely love it. Worth watching.
What's it on? Is it on Hulu, Netflix?
I think it was Sci-Fi Channel when it came out.
That's why I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, you got to be a little nerdy. But in this show, it's all about artifacts that got power through being around someone famous.
Okay.
And in the final episode, they have to use Hiram Abiff's square compass and setting maul to survive. So, pretty cool story.
And that's the final? That's like the series finale?
I believe it was.
That's how they exit? That's right. All right. Warehouse 13. Look it up. Won't be me. Lodge 49. I know nothing of Lodge 49 either. You have stumped me all the way through. Is this BS?
No. So this one technically isn't about Masonry, but if you're a Mason, you're going to love it. It only went for, I think, one season, but I was talking to Doug Chartier. Him and I, we love the show.
What time frame was it set in?
Today.
To current day?
Yeah.
But it's not about Masonry, but there's a lot of Masonic references.
I can't remember what their lodges were. They were named after an animal, but
like a buffalo or
something like that. Yeah.
Lodge 49. Look it up, or if you've seen it, let us know in the comments, because I feel like Chris is trying to get me to bite on something that's not real. I'm suspect. So there's some shows that allude to some bad guys being Masons, right?
Yes.
That's what you put together? Yes. So, Chris, take this over. Talk to us about these shows and what you know about them.
So, On Bones, have you ever watched that one?
I have a little bit here and there.
I believe they had a guy that ate people. And he turned out to be a Mason. I believe that's how it worked.
Well, apparently that's what everyone thinks our initiations are about. So there you go. We're up. You caught us again, guys.
A show called Endeavor on season 2, episode 1. I've never seen it.
Never heard of it.
But we were bad guys.
Okay.
So Gotham, the TV show about Batman.
Yep, I've seen that. This is young Batman kind of growing up. Yeah, great series, I thought.
It was.
Yeah.
And they had one episode where they actually do a ritual inside of a beautiful Masonic temple, and you get to see it, and it's called Blood Sacrifice, if you want to check that out. Very cool episode.
Yeah. Gotham's over now, right? The series is over.
I'm not sure. I never got into it.
You didn't? Yeah, I probably watched the first 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch that episode.
Or seasons.
Yeah. And then Kaleidoscope, I think that's one of the new ones on Netflix. We turned out to be bad guys there, too.
Oh, I saw that on the thumbnail because they had like a lady on the thumbnail with some Masonic thing. This is fairly new in the last couple of years.
I think it's one of those where you can watch it in any order you want, and it still makes for a good story. Kind of a new way of doing TV.
I like it.
Murdock Mysteries, that's before my time, but...
When I first read that, I read Murdock Mysteries like the attorney that killed his wife and son. I thought, no, don't tie this to us.
No.
So, Murdock Mysteries, never heard of it.
And then a show on CBS called Salvation, where the bad guy, rich guy, just buys whatever he wants, makes us look bad.
Bad look, huh?
Yeah.
Living in excess. So now we're going to pop over to movie references. So we've come out of TV. Listen, guys, I know we probably missed some. Put it in there. We're not great at this. But movie references. I think I'm back in the saddle now. The TV. I don't watch a lot of TV, so I think I'm going to be back here. So the movie, The Freemason.
Yeah, have you not seen?
Never seen it.
So it's got Sean Astin in it. I think that's how you say his name, Rudy.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's a Mason or not, but he's probably the main character.
Okay.
I think the senior deacon in the movie, he's the one that directed it.
Okay.
And they do a great job.
Do you know who Sean Astin's dad is, other than Mr. Astin?
No, I do not.
The Addams Family, he's Gomez.
So I don't know much about the Addams Family either.
You know the Addams Family?
Yeah.
He's the dad.
Okay.
He's the dad.
Really?
Yep. There we go.
He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah. He was kind of a child star, then kind of disappeared for a little bit and came back. Is Sean Astin also the one that's in, what's the Stranger Things?
I haven't watched that either.
Okay. Well,
there he was in 50 First Dates where he had a lisp and wore muscle shirts. That was pretty good.
All right. There we go. The Freemasons. Also in there, the movie From Hell. We've referenced before when we talked about Jack the Ripper. There's hundreds of references. If you've not seen the movie, is it fair for me to... Because you've introduced me to the movie.
I was there when we were both introduced. I'm not sure who brought it to us.
I keep giving you credit for this.
I'll take credit. It was me.
So we were there. Is it fair to say it's very slow movie? Or did you not think it was slow?
Well, it's an older movie. So they were...
It's like 20 years old. This is the kid saying it's older.
So movies back in the 90s and 2000s, they took a lot longer to get going.
Yeah, it felt slow. But some of the stuff was really interesting. I remember seeing some scenes in there that gave me pause like, this is kind of interesting.
Yes. Yeah. It's definitely worth watching.
Yeah. Also, Laurel and Hardy, Sons of the Desert. It's an old movie from the 20s. There's countless references. And their movie poster, which happens to be in the studios of Laurel and Hardy, they're actually in their fez. Sons of the Desert, Laurel and Hardy. So,
I haven't seen that one yet. I see the poster. But
yeah. It's worth knowing when it was filmed. It's worth to watch because the cinematography was probably great at the time, but now it's like, oh my gosh, my 2-year-old could shoot this in the backyard. So
good storyline though.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah. It's not what you think. You know, when I think Sons of the Desert, I'm going Hot Sand, Second Section, all of those things.
Just think of Fred Smith.
Yes, you know, you kind of go there. Fred and Ross. You figure they're going to pop up and do a cameo, right?
Yeah.
The next thing we're moving to is just kind of movies or shows that just kind of showed a ring or an emblem, right? So take over here.
So Aliens from 1986. I've never seen it, but
it's worth watching.
Sergeant Apone has a ring.
Okay.
American Gangster. A guy named Lou has a lapel pin.
Okay.
The Ant Bully, which is a cartoon.
Never seen it.
The grandma has a rocking chair, and it's got a really nice square and compass in the back.
On the rocking chair?
Yeah.
No kidding. All right.
The Apocalypse from 1997, Apocalypse Watch. Sorensen has a ring, which I've never seen that
Me either.
either.
So we're talking like we know all the kids. Yeah, Sorensen. You know Sorensen. You know the guy. He had a ring. Bad Boys. Now, I will tell you, when I saw this stuff come over, it said Bad Boys 2. It was actually Bad Boys.
Okay.
The first one, because on the truck that's outside of Club Hell that has the ether in it, so Tia Leone is in the very first one, Bad Boys. And so she was the one that they tied her to a deal, and they ended up escaping in this ice cream truck or big truck that had the square and compasses on it. So, Death of a Salesman, 85.
It was before I was born, but he had a lapel.
I've never seen Death of a Salesman. It is a play. I do know it's a play.
Okay.
Domino?
No. It's 05.
Okay.
I've never seen it, though.
Okay, so the TV producer, Mark Heist, wears a Masonic ring in there?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, it might be a Canadian thing.
It could be.
Could be. The Grand Budapest Hotel 2014, Lugwood has a Masonic hand tattoo, right?
Yes.
Then the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, 2003. I remember that. It doesn't seem like that's 20 years old now.
Yeah. And there's a few different squares and compasses in that movie.
Right. And this aside talks about the bad guy with the ring on there.
Yeah.
One thing that wasn't in there that I added, the movie Tombstone, which I know you're going to say is too old. It's a great movie. It's probably one of the top 10 of all times. It's a must-watch if you're a history buff.
I've seen it. I wouldn't say top 10, though. Top 10.
We'll debate that. We'll debate that later. But I also don't watch a lot of movies, but it's a good one. One of the characters has a square and compass on the necklace.
I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he ends up he was with the bad guys with red sashes, but he didn't like the way that they were operating, so he came back, which is good because we all know why it hurt to be a Mason. So maybe that's where he flipped. It's like, well, I can't go against my brothers. That's what we hope, and that's what we're going to put in and say. That's what happened. So, Chris?
Yeah. Obviously, the one movie everybody knows is Masonic is National Treasure.
Fair.
I even did a Masonic investigation last month, and the guy was investigating. When I asked him if he had any questions, he asked me about National Treasure.
You know, I've been asked that before on Masonic investigations, and you know what? Stay tuned. Several episodes ahead, we're going to be doing an episode on Masonic investigations, what should really happen. And Chris doesn't know, but Chris will be back for that because Chris has done a lot of investigations. Russ will be back in for that. And I'll jump in and we'll talk about what we think should really be done to protect the West Gate, frankly, right? So I don't want to go into another rant like I like to do sometimes about the West Gate. So Prisoners 2013, Jake Gyllenhaal's character wears a Masonic ring on his left finger, and Jack Johnson shows off some Masonic jewelry.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either.
I'll have to go back and look at that. It's okay. I like Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's a good character actor. So now I will tell you this. I've seen Austin Powers, and now I feel like this is BS, but this is what I'm seeing on the prompt here. Will Ferrell and Austin Powers wears a fez and must answer any question if asked 3 times, and it has to be 3 times.
Yeah, it's.
I don't remember this.
Yeah, so he's interrogating.
It's in the original one.
I believe so.
You know, I think I've only seen Goldmember now that I think about it.
Well, you should go back and...
The original one.
I mean, what are the odds? He's got a fez on, and if you ask him 3 times, he has to give you the answer.
So somebody that wrote that knew something about something.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's a great tidbit. I've learned a lot so far. So let's jump over to songs now. So we went from TV to movies to song. I think everyone's heard this. Copperhead Road.
Yeah.
He's talking about the truck that he bought at an auction at a Mason's Lodge, right?
I think it was a truck. Is it a truck?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to help me on this because you're getting into a genre that I'm not familiar about.
So I don't know.
Gangster, no. Gangstar, no gangs, no games, right?
No Games, I think, is the title of the song.
And the line?
The line is, "Do the knowledge to the master builder, blowing a spliff, the new millennium Hiram Abiff."
All right. Well, I don't like that they've got a spliff and Hiram Abiff all mentioned in the same line.
What else rhymes with Hiram Abiff?
Well,
but you're right. It's different.
A spliff's a blunt, right?
Yeah.
It's a blunt?
Yeah, okay. I think so.
All right. There we go. DMX, the song Slippin'. The line is, "I've been through mad different phases like Masons." It doesn't, I know that you guys understand me as a awesome gangster rapper, but I just didn't get my flow kind of heated up for that. Apologize.
I think it's important to say, just because they rap about Masonry doesn't mean they're a Mason.
That's fair.
Or that they'd make it through the West Gate.
That's fair.
In the rap game, Masonry makes them look a little bit cooler.
You can never say rap game again. You said that like you're in the rap game. I want you to go back because he's like, so in the rap game, I don't know anything about the rap game. We know a brother in our lodge that may spit some rhymes or two.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, there's a Freemason rap, So Mote It Be.
So this is one of the greatest songs I've ever heard.
Seriously?
Yes.
You're not being facetious.
No, I'm being real.
Okay.
Even my dad likes it.
So it's called what? So Mote It Be?
It's called So Mote It Be.
Okay.
The YouTube channel is J Row, and it's really good.
Okay. Well, you'll see that across the bottom, so you guys can go. You can go look that up. So also Doug Anthony All Stars, Jason and Kylie. The lyrics are, "Let's play Freemason. I'll chase you around the house while wearing our silly aprons." So I've never heard it. Interesting.
I haven't either, but what a great quote.
All right. So you got next here.
House of Pain you know the song Jump Around?
Absolutely. It's in my wheelhouse.
You do.
Yes, before you were born.
So they had a song called Life Goes On, and it says, do you know about the Masons, about their nation? To the 33rd degree, you know that's me. So I would assume maybe he is.
I also believe, somebody correct me where I'm wrong, the lead singer of House of Pain, he was also a lead singer of the band Everlast, because that's his name.
I didn't know that.
I believe that just like Stone Sour and Slipknot, I think it's the same lead singer.
I didn't
Look that up. Look that up, boys. Ray Stevens, Shriners Convention. How do you talk about songs about Masonry without mentioning the glorious mess? Everyone wears a fez, but Ray Stevens, we don't really talk about him much in Masonry, but he was kind of a funny little. He was like a Weird Al of the before his time, the Weird Al of country music.
So I got to see him. I went to Imperial Sir's Jeff Souders parade in Nashville.
Okay.
And he was at the parade.
Ray Stevens?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So speaking of Weird Al Yankovic, Albuquerque, and the quote is, where the Shriners and the lepers play their ukuleles all day. I have never heard that. I remember Weird Al's early stuff. So back to you. I don't know what this is, the LCD sound system.
So when I did research on this one, they claim that it was the first music video funded by MTV. It's got Anna Kendrick in the music video.
You did send this to me. I did see this.
This is just crazy. Yeah.
It's really kind of interesting because she's shooting a square and compass out of her hands. You know what? Remind me. We're going to put a link down to this because you did send this to me. I'm a kind of an Anna Kendrick fan. She's she's cute. She's quirky, and I think she's probably funny as hell.
I would imagine.
I think she's funny as hell. So, but I didn't know that's what it was. So check out the link. I do know this one. Run DMC. The video. It's tricky. One of the ladies is wearing the Scottish Rite black 32nd degree hat as well in that. I do remember that. I'd seen it for years and I thought, what's this silly hat? And then I joined the fraternity and it was like, wait a minute, I've seen this before. And then somehow I'm watching Tricky. So Barbra Streisand and Duck Sauce.
This is right up your alley, right?
Barbra Streisand?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not. She was alive. She was doing music when I was alive. I'm still alive. Barely. But, I don't know anything about this, but it talks about having a shrine fez in her video. So I know nothing about that. Any Barbra Streisand followers here, reach out to Barbara and tell her we give her a shout out. But that's all we have.
Yeah.
Chris, thanks for the research. And if you guys have anything else that we missed, which we will, add it in the comments. And we like to see Masonic references in movies, TVs, but we don't like them when they're bad guys.
No, we're not bad guys.
We're not bad guys. We every once in a while you get an odd duck in there, and you
get them kicked out.
You do. You just put their head underwater or whatever you do with a duck. Yeah. So, but thanks for watching the Old Fashioned Masonic podcast, and thanks again, Chris.
Thank you.